Hey everyone, Michael here with Hello Cupcake It's Me. Today is the Saturday check-in. It is some kind of a day. I don't have my watch on, so I have no idea what the date is, but I know that it's 2023, so thanks for hanging with me. If you haven't done so already, please hit like and subscribe, and then head on over to podcast.hellocupcakeitsme.com to check out the podcast. That is updated every Thursday. And then head on over to hellocupcakeitsme.com to give the blog some love and follow me on all the social medias and the links down below. On today's video, you get to change insulin with me. How fun. I'm not doing the full change because I just changed the cord yesterday. I just need to add more insulin to my pump. And so I've had some questions in the past about like what kind of insulin and stuff I use. So here it is here. It is the Humulin RU500. So this is a seriously concentrated dose of insulin. Every 1 unit is times 5. And I have to put 250 units into my pump. And I get this beautiful syringe with this super thick needle. I don't know if it's not going to focus on that. But yeah. So what I do is you got to take it. And this is something I do just because it's easier for me is I inject a bunch of air into my bottle. So then all I have to do is insert the needle and it starts plunging itself on its own. I don't know if it's a good thing, a bad thing, or just a thing, but something I've been doing since forever. And then you want to make sure that there's no bubbles in there. Then normally you would replace the cartridge, but like I said, I just replaced all this yesterday. I thought that I had the right amount of insulin in there, and I do not. Then you stab it into this port that's on the side. And you begin gently and slowly filling it up until you feel pressure and resistance on the plunger. And once you feel that pressure and that resistance, you don't push harder because it will damage the cartridge and then you are out of a cartridge. Then what I like to do is just, you probably saw that on camera, just give it a couple of quick squirts to get all of the insulin out of the needle itself. They give you enough needles and stuff to last a month. I just like to reuse it because being diabetic is a lot of trash and a lot of plastic and a lot of just everything. And I don't like using that much plastic and trash and all that other stuff. But here's what the container looks like, or the insulin cartridge. So you got your tubing here, and then this reservoir is what you're filling up. And then I should have right here, but I don't see one. But it looks like a little, cleverly disguised. And then this little hockey puck is my tubing. So this has a spring on the inside, and you pull it, and then it's not really a spring, it's kind of like a spring, but you pull it down, you find a position on your stomach or whatever, and then you push the sides and it shoots the needle into you. You pull it out, you disconnect it, and call it good. I will show you my insulin port. That is my insulin port. So that is what is inside of this little thing. So yeah, now we turn the device on. 1, 2, 3. And then we have to go ahead and load it and say that we changed the cartridge. The cartridges last for... You're supposed to change the cartridge and the tubing out every 3 days. Sometimes I do it every 3 days. Sometimes I do it like once a week. More often than not, I do it like once a week just because, for whatever reason, I have such a bitch of a time getting my refills for this. I don't know why it's such a hard thing to get done, but for whatever reason it is. And yeah, so then you just follow the on-screen prompts. It says filled tubing. This is the one part of this process that I absolutely hate, that even if it's reused materials, you still have to wait for it to administer 10 units of insulin before you can shut this off. And sometimes I replace just the tube like I did yesterday, and then you have to waste 10 units of insulin. Like right now you see the insulin droplet forming. So yeah, you gotta wait for 10 units of that crap to come out. Thankfully we're already at 6 point something, 6.5, 6.9, 7.3, 8, 9.1, 9.5, 9.8, 10.2. Now I just plug this back in. And you can see right there that it's plugged in. And then I wait for this to finish doing all of its detections. And it says, if you see drops, blah, blah. Yeah. If you see drops at the end of the tube, press done. If no insulin drops are noticed, press fill to continue filling. Amount filled 10.2 units. And then, fill cannula. Well, because this already had insulin going through it, I don't need to fill the cannula. The cannula is like this tiny little tube that sticks into the skin just under the surface that delivers the insulin. And then you just click OK, and it's a resume insulin now, and resuming insulin. So it now says that I have 120 units, which until I do a finger stick test, will not tell me the actual amount of units I have in here, but it's guesstimating that I have 120 units. And then I just connect it back in, and there we go. So that's what I got to do every couple of days, is reconnect all of that. So fun, right? Anyways, so today being Saturday, I have multiple options on what I am going to be doing today. One of them being going to my sister's house and going to go spend the day with her. Or I could call up my friend and see if she wants to get together and go do the things. Both of which sound very promising, very probable. The one thing, though, if I go out with my sister, I get to spend time with my sister and her boyfriend, and we get to go have fun and do all the things. If I go with the other person, we get together and go and do all the things and blah, 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 but different energy, different vibes. So, yeah. And if my sister is already out and about with her boyfriend, which she probably is, because I haven't talked to her this morning, then that will definitely tell me or let me know what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, let's see what has been going on. If you watched Wednesday and listened to the Thursday podcast, you pretty much know what's going on, but I'll just quickly recap. I've been like really tired still lately from last weekend when I went to the Witches Walk and Fright Night and listened to a couple of bands there at the concert, which was Friday the 13th. One of them was Russian Blue. The other one was called The Scoffs. And Russian Blue, I really liked their music. Really vibed with them. And The Scoffs, kind of metal punk. And I don't really care for that genre of music. So it was like, okay, whatever. But started following them both on social media. And they both followed me back. So I thought that was pretty awesome. And what else has been going on? Been playing a lot of my video game, Age of Ape. And I'm really excited that Super Mario Bros. Wonder came out yesterday. So, Santa Claus is going to be getting a little hint that a good boy wants that for Christmas, if we're able to find it. I don't want the digital copy. I want the physical downloadable copy, or the physical copy. I'm one of those old school gamers. Like, I like to have the physical cartridge or disc or whatever on hand. And plus, it makes it easier that way that I can, like, hey, you have XYZ, I have XYZ, you want to trade games? And then you're able to trade your game across, or like, hey, let me borrow that game for a little while. When you have the downloaded thing to your Switch or whatever, you can't really do that because there's no way to do so. And I understand the logic and the thinking behind it, because if you have it and your friend wants it and they don't have it, they have to go out and buy a copy. Well, or you download the hacked ROM and do a side load. But we don't talk about that, right? So, yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to trying to get that game here pretty soon. I still want Hogwarts Legacies. And I wish that the Nintendo Switch was a little bit more powerful, that it could play some of the games that are coming out that I would really love to be able to play. There's a game on the PlayStation 4 that I want to play called The Second Son. And it's a continuation of another game that was on the PS3. And that game was called Infamous. So I want to be able to play that game. And then there's a bunch of other games, like for the PS4 and now the PS5, that I want to play, but it's probably going to be at least another 2-3 years before I get a PS4 or even get a PS5, and I don't think they make them backwards compatible anymore like they did with the PS2 and the PS1. But that's usually how it works out. Like, the video game system will come out, and then 2 or 3 years later, when the prices dropped and no one wants their system anymore because the latest, greatest one's coming out, that's when I get mine, and just seems to be how it works out. Like, I picked up my PlayStation 3 off of... It was Facebook Marketplace, I think, but I picked it up for $50, and it came with 5 games, 2 controllers, and I was like, hell yeah, let me swoop that up real quick, because I just happened to have extra money at the time. And I don't even remember like the whole thing about how I had said extra money. I just knew that I had the $50 laying around, and I was able to pick up my PlayStation 3, and everything worked and everything was amazing. When I got it, it still had all of the person's login information, their PlayStation Network information, Netflix, and all that other stuff. And I was like, oh man, there was a moment there where I was just like, I'm not going to disconnect this stuff because I want to be able to use their saved games and things like that. But at the same time, I'm like, I want my own profile. So I eventually just went ahead and reformatted the hard drive and started it all over. And it's probably been about a year and a half, maybe 2 years since I've played my PS3. And I have a shit ton of games for the PS2. And my PS2 took a swan dive a long time ago. And I have a bunch of games for the Nintendo Wii, but I never play that game or that anymore. Matter of fact, my one of my really good friends, he has all of my Nintendo Wii games and a couple of my controllers. And I still have a GameCube and the original NES, and those are in a box in the back of my closet, and I haven't played either of those systems in years. I actually have 2 GameCubes because I bought one GameCube at a thrift store for like $10, and they're like, yeah, we don't know if it works. I'm like, well, $10, I'm gonna take it and try it out, and sure as shit, it did work. I could play my GameCube games on my Switch. I wish that would be amazing. But I could play my GameCube games on my Wii, and then just connect the controller or whatever. And then I also have a Game Boy. I think it's a Game Boy Color. It's a purple one. I know that much. Then I have a Nintendo DS, but that doesn't work anymore. I don't know what happened to it. And I'm really sad because I loved my DS. And I have a Game Boy Advance. So I got a couple of systems that are just super freaking outdated, and I don't have games for a lot of them. But whatever. What gaming systems do you guys have? Like, that would be awesome to know. Oh, and I also have the original Xbox somewhere in my collective. I only have like 1 or 2 games where I used to have about 30 or 40 of them because, well, I got the Xbox right after my house burned down. And that was in 2003. So, yeah, shortly after the house burned down, I went out and I bought a PlayStation 2, a GameCube, and an Xbox, and then all the games that I originally had for those systems. My original PlayStation 2 system was fierce. I had the Fat Boy console, and I had a keyboard to it. I had Game Shark. I had like all kinds of like doodads and doohickeys for it. But yeah, what do you guys have? What gaming systems do you have? Do you play video games? Do you play games on your phone? Like, I'd like to know. If you want to play some games, there's my links in the comments or in the show description down below, where we can play verydice together. We can play Pokemon Go together. I think my Nintendo Switch friend code is in there. My Pokemon Go friend code is in there. So yeah, go check those out. Anyways, guys, I am going to go ahead and let you go. And I'm going to get a hold of my sister and see what she's doing. And then possibly get a hold of my other friend and start my weekend. So I hope you all are doing well. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.